Fans, and welcome to another exciting Channel 22 sports presentation. It is now basketball season. Fans, I'm Rufus Washington, joined as always by my colleague Dave Marks. We are here at Hawthorne High School as the Cougars host the Warriors of West Torrance. This broadcast being brought to you by the Lawndale Community Cable Corporation, Hawthorne Cable Television, Channel 22, and Time Warner Cable, Channel 6. We thank you as always, and we assure you that tonight's contest is going to be most exciting as we're here for our Ocean League contest, Dave, as they announce the starting lineups. Your early thoughts?
Well, my early thoughts are this is going to be a game of wills of both teams. You have a Hawthorne home team that is not doing well overall and not doing well in league. They feel that they're underachieving. They're just 1-4 in the Ocean League and 4-12 overall. And you have a team in West Torrance that's doing better record-wise. They're 4-2 in league, which puts them right in the thick of things. They're 8-10 overall, and they've played 4 teams in the top 25 in preseason. So they're having a better record, but their coach, Karim Jurgis, is not totally satisfied with their performance. And of course, if you are Joe House with the Hawthorne Cougars, there's no way you can be satisfied with a 1-4 and a 4-12 overall. So he's going to shake things up tonight in the starting lineup in the hopes of perhaps turning things around.
And we'll get that lineup set for you in just a moment as you see them taking the floor. We can tell you that the West Torrance starting lineup is number 5, John Wilson, number 20, Paul Natake, number 22, Brad Dolick, number 30, Dwayne Hollyfield, and 32, Chris Brown. Hollyfield coming in as their leading scorer with a 16.8 average per game.
Now the Hawthorne Cougars are expected to come out with Michael Washington in the backcourt as a shooting guard. He's been the backbone of the team this season. Tyrone Flowers will be the point guard. And a couple of changes. Marcel Montavon is the regular center, but Stanley Quintanilla and Sergio Batista are going to be 2 starters. They don't usually start. They're playing in the place of Villamar Washington and Jamar Sloan, who Coach House feels have slumped somewhat this season. So he's going to try something new as Montavon will jump at center against Dwayne Hollyfield.
And the Cougars control the opening tap. They're going from our left to our right. They feed it down low to Montavon. Turn around, jump hook, no good. Taken down by the Warriors. That's Chris Brown. He's there forward. That shot up, no good. Followed, knocked away. Cougars running early. That's it, Mike Washington out top. That's Anthony Brown. He's number 5. Number 3 is Flowers. That shot's going to be put up, no good. Rebound taken down by Big Hollyfield. And if you're a prep football fan in these parts, that name will be familiar to you, Dave.
Oh, yes, he was a big tight end for West as we get a steal here for Hawthorne.
Brown controlling it, gets it down on the low corner. Now they get it on the low block there to Montavon. His jump hook up again, no good. He's 0 for 2 on the jump hook so far.
Yeah, he's getting his position, though, and that's what they want him to have, as he's done fairly well from the center position this year.
That's Brown, the power forward, out top. They get it down low in the corner. That shot up, no good. We're in first quarter action, fans. Only a minute or so gone by, still scoreless contest. There is a shot clock in effect, but it doesn't look like it's going to mean much in this contest as both teams are ripping and running early on.
And it's a pace that doesn't favor West Torrance. They're a team that, well, now you see them in the half court. That's what their coach, Karim Jurgis, wants them to basically do. The Cougars, they feel, are going to try to run, but as far as running, this is a Hawthorne team that played double overtime at Beverly Hills the other night and lost by 6 points. So their tanks may be running on empty somewhat too. We'll have to see what kind of stamina they have here tonight in this ball game.
Now to get it out in the perimeter, running their version of what we call 4 out. Shot from distance, no good. Going to get an over-the-back call on Montavon, as he came over the back of Dwayne Hollyfield. That's their first foul, so it's non-shooting situation.
And not much on the scorebooks. 3 minutes, actually 2 minutes gone by. They play 8-minute quarters here. getting readjusted to the basketball season on the high school level.
That's Nataki, gets it back out top. Now he's swinging around. Now they get it inside the Holyfield, and he puts it up and in.
Well, that's an excellent low post position. And Dwayne Holyfield, was averaging 16.8, close to 17 points a ball game, able to capitalize. And of course, off the made basket, they get back and play the zone defense.
Washington there, goes inside, tosses it back. You're going to have a backcourt violation, and it is called. Our officials for tonight's contest are the referee, Steve Elliott. That's Steve right there with the ball now, and he's handing it over to the umpire, who's Greg Wilson.
I know something I won't tell. It just went off the screen.
Nataki out top with the ball. Gets it down the corner. That shot put up, hits the side. That shot was by Brad Dolick. He averages 11. Now we're going to have a whistle. Looks like Cougar stepped out of bounds with it. Ball back to the Warriors of West Torrance. That's Brown down in the corner. They swing it back up top to Nataki. Good interior passing there. Holyfield shot no good. He gets the follow, puts it up and in. So right now, the Warriors of West Torrance at the 4:45 mark pitching a shutout, be it a low-scoring shutout nonetheless at 4-0.
That's their kind of game right now, half court. That's what they want to do. They don't want to get into a track meet.
Shot from distance, three-pointer, put up and in by Tyrone Flowers.
Needs a point guard, good ball handler, not too flashy, and took advantage of the open shot there.
Cougar starting lineup that's on the floor as they play defense right now is Tyrone Flowers, number 3. Thomas Bunn, number 4. Anthony Brown, number 5. Mike Washington, 10. And Marcel Montalvan, 23. Again, perimeter passing right now. They look inside. They go inside to Montalvan. Still looking to get his first basket. Can't get on track. Montalvan getting decent looks. They just won't drop. That shot put up from distance by number 5, John Wilson. Offensive rebound taken down by the Warriors. Nataki out top, gives it over to Brown. We're going to have a timeout called at the 3:37 mark by the Warriors of West Torrance here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22 in conjunction with the good folks at Hawthorne's Community Cable Channel 22 and, of course, our Time Warner partners.
All over the South Bay tonight. Well, so much game as advertised, pretty much. You got West Torrance. They want to play the half-court game. Hawthorne wants to run, haven't had the opportunity, although Hawthorne has had some decent shots. They're just not falling. And as far as Hawthorne and the starters tonight, as Rufus told you, Thomas Bunn starting tonight. A little bit of a difference from what we were told. Of course, their regular starters, Villamar Washington and Jamar Sloan, were not slated to start tonight due to the fact that Coach Joe House wanted to shake things up a bit. So he's still looking for a lineup on the floor that's going to work and get him some points.
And now we've got Villamar Washington on the floor, number 21.
And again, he's a senior, very flashy shooter and can penetrate, but did not start tonight due to the fact that Coach wanted to try something different.
Shot from three-point range, put up and in by number 22, Brad Dolick.
He's been averaging 11 a game.
Flowers and Bunn out on the perimeter. They're joined by Villamar Washington. They pass it around the perimeter. That's Washington. His shot, three-pointer, put up and in. Our score now, fans. Scoreboard shows 7-3. Should be 7-6. It is corrected now. In fact, West Torrance leads. Nataki's shot from the perimeter. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Mike Washington. He goes up the right side. Now they get it in the hands of Tyrone Flowers. He's their point guard. He sets him up. He attacks the basket, throws it away. Turnover, Cougars.
Well, showing some patience there, and a fancy pass that just was a little too high and thrown out of bounds.
Shot from the corner, put up and in. That's Brad Dolich. Our score now 10-6.
That's 2 3-pointers for Dolich tonight. He and Paul Nataki for West Torrance can get hot from 3-point range.
Gonna have a whole foul call here. It's gonna be called against Nataki, who was caught holding Thomas Bunn. Bunn, the 5'10 junior for the Cougars. West Torrance's first substitute comes on as John Wilson goes off, and number 10, Chad Hunt, comes on. Again, excellent perimeter passing outside the 3-point arc. West Torrance gets a hand on it. Flowers out here, passes it over to Bunn. You got Flowers, Bunn. Now we get over to number 10, Washington. That's Mike Washington, with number 21 being Villamar Washington. Shot from distance, 3-pointer. That one put up and in by Mike Washington.
And he, of course, is the one that they need to get hot for this Hawthorne Cougar team. He leads them in scoring, averaging almost 20 points a ball game.
Got Dwayne Hollyfield in the middle, passes over to the perimeter, shot put up, no good. Hollyfield attempts to come down with it, but 3 Cougars are there, and they take possession of it. Get in the front court, looking to set it back up again. They work it inside, slapped away, stolen. Hollyfield has it. The big guy looks for a guard, says, come here, shorty. Gets it over. There's a strip there by number 3, Flowers. They're running. Nice bounce pass. Puts it up, no good, but we're going to have a foul call. And that's going to send Thomas Bunn to the line.
Well, they ran the floor well on the break that time. Off of the takeaway in the front court, leading to good things. Marcel Montavon fed the outlet pass, and they had the 2-on-1. And all they could do is commit the foul. Dwayne Hollyfield, his first personal.
With 46 seconds left in the first, Bunn's first is no good. Substitute coming on the floor now as number 20, Paul Nataki, goes off. We've got actually a guy we don't have in the program. Number 3 comes on for West Torrance. 23, I'm sorry. I take that back. That's Sherwood Dixon. Cougar defense coming out high right now. They're laying back in a 2-3 zone for the most part, some 3-2 actually. Defense being very aggressive. Hollyfield inside. He's going to be fouled on the play by Montavon. It's going to send him to the line to shoot 2. Score tied, 10-10. We've got 23 seconds left here in the first. That's the second foul on Montavon. So here, a little bit of foul trouble in the early going, Dave.
Yes, he averages 10 blocks a ball game, which is what he wants to do. But, of course, you got to have the right position in order to get the clean block. And so that key situation right now, him being one of the taller players out there and one of the better leapers for Hawthorne tonight in foul trouble. And the other big fella, Dwayne Hollyfield, on the line.
Hollyfield converts the first. They wanted the substitute for Montavon there. Now they call the substitution in. So, Montavon with his 2 fouls goes off. And number 14 for the Cougars, that's Dominique Fowler, the senior, comes on.
10 seconds to go in the quarter, rather.
Shot clock off. Shot from distance by 21 goes up. It's no good. They tap it around. 3 seconds left. West Torrance has possession. They'll just hold it there. And after 1 quarter, the Warriors of West Torrance here at Hawthorne High School lead the Cougars by a score of 12-10. Again, on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, Hawthorne Community Cable Channel 22, and our partners at Time Warner Television.
Well, interesting, the end of that, I guess the latter half of that quarter is when you saw a couple of possessions there for Hawthorne when they were very patient and got off some of the good shots. That's something, of course, that I'm sure impressed the coaching staff. And they're right in it. Neither team able to really exert their will, so to speak, through one quarter.
Not in full yet.
We mentioned Hawthorne coming off of that double overtime loss against Beverly Hills a couple of nights ago. It was up at Beverly Hills, and that was a 70-64 loss, so taking 6 quarters and scoring only 64 points shows you that they're having a little bit of offensive problems this year. But they're hanging right in this one.
Good early showing, a little bit slow in getting started, but once they got it on track, they've made a ball game out of it, and we've got a 12-10 score. Torrance inbound in the ball.
Of course, the Hawthorne JV won their ball game tonight over West Torrance by 6 points.
Got Chad Hunt on the floor for West Torrance, along with number 15, Jared Brandberg. Chris Brown is 32. 23 is Sherwood Dixon, and 22 is Brad Doley. Got a basket and a foul on the play. Going to the line will be Thomas Bunn.
Well, they say he is a very good penetrator and quick off the dribble, and you saw him just take the issue, take it right to the rack that time.
Dominic Fowler goes off for the Cougars, and Mike Shelton, a freshman, comes in. Shelton listed at 6'5". Shelton wearing jersey number 32. Our score tied right now at 12-12. That pass thrown away by Hunt. So, Cougars with their first opportunity to take the lead, Dave, since it was 0-0.
And they got the good half-court set again this time.
That shot doesn't draw iron from the left wing, actually from down in the corner.
Well, Michael Washington hasn't gotten many shots tonight. He's canned 1 3-pointer, but he, of course, is the offensive key for the Hawthorne Cougars.
Still the ball, we got no shot. Our referee, Steve Elliott, says the foul occurred on the floor, so it'll be West ball out of bounds.
As we play in the Ocean League this year for Hawthorne, I guess from the point of view of viewership, it is too bad that they don't get a chance to play their traditional hated rivals, Losinger Olympians. Losinger in the Bay League this year. And they get tough competition, but the two schools did already play. And the Hawthorne Cougars beat Losinger in that ball game, one of 4 games that they won overall on the season. So at least they're satisfied with that, beating the Olympians.
West ball. A lot of dipsy-do dribbling, not a whole lot of ball advancement, and now we're going to have a foul call. This is going to go against Hollyfield. They're going to call him with a hooking foul.
That's going to be number 2 for the big fella.
Well, right now the board shows 1. You may indeed be correct. We'll see if they change the scoreboard.
Hey, I'll take my chances over the clock operator.
That shot from distance, no good. Hawthorne retains the rebound. A lot of contact inside, no call. Referees letting them play just a little. Bounce pass there by Hollyfield, led his man just a little too much. Had the right idea. His wing actually didn't sprint as hard as he could have on the drive. Would you say, Branton? All right.
Get Brandon a catcher's mitt. Keep telling you.
Again, Cougars with a chance to take their first lead. I think this is about their 3rd trip down with that opportunity to get it inside, kick it back outside. Now they get the easy basket underneath. Score that one for Mike Shelton.
Well, he's a freshman phenom. He's started at center, and averaging 7 to 10 a ball game, 14 rebounds. Hurt his wrist in practice and struggled a bit against Beverly Hills, but to see that kind of performance out of a freshman.
So at the 5:45 mark of the second quarter, the Cougars took their first lead, and at 5:25, the Warriors tied it back up.
As Jared Brandberg with that bucket, his first of the night.
Shot from three-point range goes up, no good. Taken down by 15. That's Jared Brandberg, we just mentioned. Good push by the Warriors. Shot put up, it doesn't go. But it's going to send number 10, Chad Hunt, to the line.
We'll get Villamar Washington on the swat attempt that time. Pushing the ball doesn't seem, and talking to their head coach, Karim Gerges, he would agree that pushing the ball up for West Torrance is not their strongest suit, but they do manage to get to the line after timeout is taken at the 5:03 mark. So, Rufus, with this short timeout, why don't you tell everybody, since my name isn't Brandon, tell everybody who Brandon is.
Well, indeed, I will, Dave. Just a quick reference to my son who's able to join us here tonight. He, of course, being an NJB player, follows the game fairly closely. In fact, he's probably the only player assistant coach in youth league basketball because I worked by myself this year. He is my assistant. He knows the system, he knows the program, and he knows this game well. And he knows that the West Torrance guy, the wing, didn't run all out on the fast break, which created the turnover.
Well, that's very good. And how old is he?
He's an 11-year-old, sixth grader.
11 years old. Now that's impressive.
Sixth grader, second leading scorer in Cypress NJB in Division II. Playing, of course, on an undefeated team, being coached by his dad.
Can he name all the presidents of the United States?
He can name the one that counts for right now. That's the one who can give us the tax cuts and everything else.
Yeah, because I just seem to remember when I was his age, I could name all. Well, there were fewer of them back then to recall, of course.
Well,
but,
that's another point.
That was a big thing to be able to know all the presidents when you're 10 or 11.
We'll see if some point in the third quarter we may be able to get him back in here, but back to live action. Got a foul. I think they're going to call this one on the floor. No indication yet from our referee. Actually, they're going to call the shooting foul. We're going to shoot two. Going to the line to shoot two for the Cougars is Jamar Sloan. So some of the regulars that you talked about, Dave, earlier, who were not in initially, now starting to make their appearances in the lineup for the Cougars.
Yeah, well, Coach House just said that he had to do a little something different because he wasn't satisfied with the play so far, and the record would show. I mean, he feels that this team has a lot more potential than it's shown, and he had to send a message to some of his starters tonight to say that, if you're not going to perform up to what I think you should be able to do, I'm going to have to sit you for a while.
Sloan makes 1 out of 2. That ball is going to be out of bounds off the Cougars.
Hawthorne Cougars, they're considered basically a quick team, a team that got a couple of penetrators and slashers.
West gets it inbound. They get it to Hollyfield, who wisely gets it over to John Wilson. That's Paul Nataki, number 20 there. 15 is Jared Brandberg. That's Wilson again on the floor. Shot put up by Hollyfield, partially blocked. Hollyfield goes back up. His shot no good. Taken down by the Cougars. That's Washington with the dribble. Villamar, his shot from three-point range is good.
It's the second three-pointer of the night, and on that last defensive stand, you saw some excellent work by the freshman phenom, Mike Shelton.
They go inside to Hollyfield again. He puts it up off the glass for a deuce. Our score now, 3:45 left in the first half, 18 apiece. Good pass inside. That shot goes up, no good. Ball still alive. West Torrance gonna come away with it. And that's Hollyfield's second turnover. Get the impression that Hollyfield isn't the guy that you want leading the break, and that leads to a basket for the Cougars as again, Villamar Washington.
He throws it right into Tyrone Flowers, maybe the shortest man on the court tonight, and leads to a lead for the Cougars at the 3-minute mark of the second quarter.
Well, I tell you, if he were quarterback in the West Torrance team, I think the coaches there would be warming up the backup quarterback about now. That shot thrown up, no good, taken down by the Cougars. They lead 20-18, looking to extend that lead. And the shot to the wing, nice short jumper. Actually, it isn't a jumper. Number 15 went up with it. That's Jamar Sloan. Should have shot it, didn't shoot it. And now West Torrance are going to have a foul called on the play. Look like Brown for the Cougars got a lot of basketball.
Well, the referee saw it differently. It sounded like from where we're sitting, I heard more ball than hand, but nevertheless, the beneficiary, Sherwood Dixon.
And Dixon hits the first. In fact, the referee saw it real differently because they give the foul to Viamar Washington, although Anthony Brown was the guy in the area. And Dixon makes two. Two nice, good, crisp free throws. Sign of a player that has a good control of the fundamentals of the game. Washington over here on the left wing now. Stays up high, they get it down low. Blocked from behind by Holyfield. That shot was by Mike Washington. Holyfield with the block. There you see Nataki passing it back out top to Brown. Shot from the left wing. It's no good. Holyfield goes up, puts it in on the follow. Offensive rebound and basket for Dwayne Holyfield.
And he's in double digits with 10 right now.
That basket put up and in for the Cougars by number 32, Mike Shelton, who David told you about. The freshman phenom.
He and Holyfield are having quite a one-on-one battle.
That shot short, rebound taken down. Cougars looking to run, they do run. Now they slow it up as West gets back in numbers. Over here, left wing, now down the corner. Put up by number 10, Mike Washington. Doesn't go. Again, Holyfield has it, leading the break. They get it out of his hands, although he fumbled it once again. 1:10 left here in the first half. Our score tied at 22. And we're going to have an out of bounds off the Cougars. Montalvan comes on and Mike Washington goes off. Inbounded to Dwayne Holyfield. Montalvan went to sleep on that one.
That gives him now 1 dozen point at 12.
Three-pointer put up, no good. Goes off the rim, out of bounds with 45 seconds left. West Torrance will inbound it. Shot clock still alive, but as I said, has not been a factor in this game so far. Nice exhibition of ball handling by Hunt out there. Hunt goes through. The persistent defense of Anthony Brown puts on a ball handling exhibition.
That's quite a move there by Shad Hunt, delighting the crowd, some of the West Torrance fans that have made it here. 17 seconds to go now in the quarter, and they look to have the halftime lead, at least by 4 right now.
Shot clock is off. Cougars holding for the last shot. Knocked out of bounds by big number 32, Chris Brown. Chris is the power forward on this West Torrance team. Chris now comes out and they bring on number 33, Adam Savage, for the last 6 seconds. One shot here, they get it up. That shot doesn't go, and with 2 seconds to go, still be Cougar basketball. Chance to cut into this deficit. Got to get the shot up. They don't get it up. Horn sounds. Referees indicate we've got 1 half in the book, fan. Here at Hawthorne High School, the visiting Warriors of West Torrance lead by a score of 26-22. We'll be back with second half action in just a few moments.
Welcome back to the Cougars Den here in Hawthorne, California. Dave Marks along with Rufus Thomas. And we're at the half. Your score as you take a look at what's been happening. Rufus is joining us after getting a little chow down on some couple of hot dogs and some stats as we get set for the second half. Take it away, Rufus.
All righty. Cougars in possession to open the second half. Right now, short on the scoreboard by 4 points. Inside to Montalvan, he goes up. Montalvan just not hitting the inside shots, Dave. That's 4 or 5. He's yet to connect on any of them, and he's getting good looks inside the paint.
That is one factor, and of course, on the other side of the glass, Dwayne Hollyfield has been all world with 12 points, really making his presence felt.
Hollyfield not only with the 12 points as West adds to their lead. Our score now 28-22. We're just starting third quarter action, if you're noticing. Now, Montalvan with the turnover misses the cutter on the play. Of course, I can't lay all that blame on him. The cutter left the spot where Montalvan thought he was going to be. That shot put up inside by Dolik. It's no good. Dolik had 6 points in the first half on 2 3-pointers.
West Torrance able to sit in that zone. There you see the middle closed off again.
They get it inside to Montalvan. Now they kick it over to the left wing. That shot put up, and then they just give him a 2 on the play. That was Washington. Washington had 8 points and 4 rebounds in the first half. He was the Cougars' leading scorer. Shelton had 4 points, the freshman, and 3 other players were tied with 3 points apiece. Our thanks to Coach Aaron Givens for that statistical information. Had a good chat with him, as Dave mentioned. Gave me some insight on the Cougar program and what the future holds for it. And they're pretty excited about the next couple of years, Dave.
Well, when you got a freshman phenom like you're seeing out there in Shelton, I mean, that's certainly a player to build a team around. And we saw in the ball game, as we give a timeout in the quarter at 6:06 to go in this third quarter. As we saw in the first ball game, the JV game tonight, there were a couple of good athletes to take a look at. So the Hawthorne program, both in football, basketball, and indeed in baseball and softball, looking fairly good this year.
That timeout taken by the Cougars. Coach House making some early adjustments here in the third quarter. Our score, 28-24 in favor of West Torrance. Cougars have had the lead 1 or 2 seconds by a couple of points, but for the most part, West Torrance has been in control of this game, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and West Torrance with their 8-10 overall record. Remember, during the preseason or pre-league play, they played 4 of the top 25 teams in the city, and Miracosta was one of those teams. They split with Miracosta.
Washington gets baseline, reverse layup doesn't go for him. Ball's gonna be out of bounds, and they say it'll belong to the Warriors.
And you see the big Warrior right there. Also, some of the other, they played Sarah, Loyola, and Carson. And they played the Washington State champions up in Washington State and went to Arizona and played the Desert Mountain Arizona team. So their coach, Karim Gerges, feels that when this league season, Ocean League season, starts, they're going to do well, and they are doing well.
Going to have a foul inside. If this is on Montalvan, that'll be his third. Looks like they're going to call it on one of the Washington brothers instead, Mike Washington. I shouldn't say Washington brothers because I can't confirm. I don't know that to be a fact. But they do call it on number 10, I believe, and that's what shows on the board. Mike Washington.
Paul Natake there on the line, the shooting guard. That's his first point of the night. He and Brad Dolik, 2 of the players that in tight spots in a ball game you don't want to leave open from the 3-point line, and as they have the ability to drain them.
And Nataki hits 2. You can tell these guys do a lot of free throw practicing. I mean, these guys are swishing them. That shot put up and in for the Cougars. Makes it now 30-26.
And that's Mike Shelton there. He's got 6 points.
Brown, the power forward, gets it inside to Holyfield.
Well, he's been unstoppable. 14.
Well, if Holyfield gets it in the paint, Dave, and gets the opportunity to pivot and turn as he gets a hand up there to knock it away, you can just about make book on it. You've got to deny him down low rather than letting him be able to catch that entry pass.
Then, of course, if you start to deny him, that's when they're going to start kicking it out to the three-point shooters.
Foul on the shot. I believe this foul is going to go against John Wilson, and it is.
There's Karim Gurgis. Karim Gurgis in his 5th season coaching West Torrance, doing a fine job.
And that's Anthony Brown there on your screen. Excuse me, not Anthony Brown. I'm wrong, and you all know I'm wrong. That's Jamar Sloan shooting the free throw. Gets one out of the 2. Makes it a 5-point difference now. Cougars showing some press here. West breaks the press relatively easy. And we're going to get a foul call here. This foul is going to go against Vilmar Washington.
Big Joe House showing that suit all over the South Bay here tonight. You know, he was drafted by the New York Mets in 1980 to be a catcher. And due to a freak injury collision at the plate, ended his baseball career back in 1980. But he kind of thought that was a sign from on high that maybe what he's got to do is dedicate his life to coaching as opposed to playing. And, you know, Rufus, both you and I guess, as you look at Karim Gurgis, also a former player, there are some points in, shall we say, an adult male's life where you have to kind of know that the sandlot days are over and you're sort of dedicated to doing something else. And you've certainly done it on the coaching ranks with the youngsters.
Yes. Well, indeed I have. My days were over long before they ever got started. But I did have a lot of fun with it, but I'm having even more fun now working with the young kids in my community as I have for the past 3 or 4 years. Got a foul on the play. This foul's going to go against West, much to the disagreement of West head coach, as you said, Kareem Gurgis. They give the foul to Nataki. That's his 2nd foul. Washington out on the perimeter. They swing it around. Now they get it inside to Montalvan. Montalvan tries to dish it off. Gets away with a bit of a push off there. John Wilson coming up court. John Wilson puts it up. Doesn't go. Couple of tips there by Holyfield. Don't go. Cougars now running. They don't, and they're going to call traveling on the Cougars. Jamar Sloan whistle for the traveling violation that time.
Kind of get the feeling the adrenaline is picking up as both teams now are definitely trying to make statements at the 3:40 mark in the 3rd quarter.
Cougars applying some pressure. They believe important to getting them back in the game. West Torrance showing the mark of a well-coached and disciplined team. Actually, the pressure hasn't bothered them at all. We've got 3:20 left, fans, in the 3rd quarter. That 3-pointer put up and in by Dolik. I guess he's their designated 3-point shooter.
Well, it's Dolik and Natake who you cannot leave open from 3-point. You got to know where they are in that half-court set. Three-minute mark now, the 3rd quarter. Hawthorne down by 8, facing his own.
Moving around the perimeter. Montalvan gets it inside. Montalvan finally gets a basket to go. That's his first in, I believe, 5 attempts.
And the junior struggling a little bit with that hook tonight, but finally able to get it to go.
Good defense by the Cougars. They don't let any of the offensive players get behind them on that press. Montalvan comes down with it as it was partially blocked. Pass up the court to Sloan. Sloan gets it inside to Washington. Washington's layup no good. Shelton has it down low. He puts it up and in, and we're going to get a foul on the play. Shelton will go to the line, attempting to convert a three-point play.
Oh, he doesn't play like a freshman, that's for sure. Got the poise of an upperclassman. And they're expecting a lot of good things from him, averaging 14 rebounds a game. As you can see, that right wrist with a little tape around it that he hurt in practice, and that's why he struggled against Beverly Hills. Trying to find his rhythm here tonight.
And Shelton converts the free throw. I scored now, 35-32. And the Cougar pressure defense gets a call against it as we have a holding call. That call made against Tyrone Flowers.
They're going to continue with that press and make North Torrance have to work.
And the press yields a turnover. Shot put up, it doesn't go. But it's going to send Tyrone Flowers to the line.
Well, Karim Gurgis, the North Torrance coach, said, we know we're not quite as athletic. Actually, excuse me, West Torrance. That can confuse you head on occasion. West Torrance. The coach said they're not quite as athletic as the Hawthorne Cougars are, and last thing they want to do is get into a running game. Well, another thing you don't want to do is be forced to have to handle the ball with that kind of pressure.
Sounds like that means I don't have as many brothers playing for me as you do. Another turnover forced by the Cougars. So the Cougar pressure defense has forced 2 consecutive turnovers. They trail by a basket at 35-33, under 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. Get it inside to Montalban, gets it back outside in the hands of Mike Washington. Over now to Flowers. Man, you got a steal. Going for the basket and knocked away by Tyrone Flowers as number 23, Sherwood Dixon, was going in for the layup. Good defensive play there by Flowers.
Well, thinking about your last comment, I don't know if it's melanin or if it's desire. To me, on that one, it was more desire. You had a player much shorter, and he's able to run the court and get up there and block a shot.
Dolik from three-point range doesn't go. West comes down with it. That's Sherwood Dixon with it. He gets it out. Back on the perimeter. His shot up, and it's good. Scored a three-pointer for West. Our score now, 38-33 in favor of the Warriors.
So he'll say take that as far as the block is concerned.
Cougars try to get it inside, and it goes out of bounds off of the hands of Mike Shelton. Cougars continue to apply the pressure defense here as they have here in the last 3 to 4 minutes of the third quarter, and it's yielded some positive results, Dave.
And with 9 minutes to go in the ball game, we'll see how much longer they're able to do it.
Good bounce passes, move the ball around, also passing at an angle, all the fundamentals. Now you've got to tie up, alternating possession, arrow points in favor of the Cougars. As you get a shot there, Tyrone Flowers in on that play. West now in possession, that's Dolik, gives it over to Dixon. Back out to Dolik, interior pass there. Right now, Hollyfield not in the game. Dixon comes down with it. Dixon goes up with the left-hand jumper. It doesn't go. Mike Washington has the rebound, catches and controls just the way he was taught.
And with the shot clock off, they will have a last shot attempt, 20 seconds to go, third quarter.
Good decision by the Cougars here. Keep the damage to a minimum. If you go for the last shot, you're down by 5. Ideally, maybe you can go down by 2, but certainly no less. And with 6 seconds, there's a foul on the play that's going to send Anthony Brown to the line to shoot 3.
And of course, if he makes that, you got the LJ Larry Johnson three-point spectacular, but 5 seconds to go. If he's able to hit all three of these, that's crucial.
Gets the first to go. Good home rim bounce.
He is a good outside shooter, basically.
Gets the second. So, Anthony Brown has stepped to the line, and so far he's nailed 2 out of his 3, going for the trifecta. Doesn't get the trifecta, and it goes out of bounds off the Cougars. Right now, they trail by 3 with 3 seconds left, 38-35. There's a shot, it's up, it's good if it goes, it doesn't, and that ends the third quarter. Fans, we've got 8 minutes of action left. Our score after 3. The visiting Warriors of West Torrance, 38. Your own Hawthorne Cougars here at Seahouse, trailing right now with 35 points by 3. On Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, along with Hawthorne Community Cable Channel 22, and our partners at Time Warner Cablevision.
Well, our first basketball telecast of the season. And through 3 quarters, we saw the Hawthorne Cougars actually win that quarter on points, 13-12. So the press having somewhat of an effect. I'd like to remind the viewers out there that our next ball game, we will get a chance to see the losing Olympians. Losing Olympians will take on Santa Monica. Santa Monica. How
And
about
that will be when, Dave?
That's, well, we're scheduled to tape it on Monday, January 28th, and maybe it'll air 3 months, but no, let me stop kidding. It'll air sometime shortly after that.
Well, there's a game on Wednesday, January 23rd, where the Hawthorne fans can view El Segundo.
Yes, and we're going to do that game too.
All right. So, the final 8 minutes. Foul whistle early. Call's going to go against Montalvan. They're going to say that he threw the arm out. And for Montalvan, that's going to be, they haven't put it up on the board yet. They show 1 foul on the board. Okay. He didn't get me a sandwich.
Well, you see that zone again, and they get it to the fella that you'd want to get it in his hands. He's been having a whale of a ball game tonight. And that's 16 for Dwayne Hollyfield.
All right, Cougars, shot from distance, doesn't go. Cougars had the rebound, it gets away, but the ref says it went off of West last, so the Cougars will have it.
And let me reiterate quickly what we were telling you at the end of the third quarter. Our next game is in fact going to be El Segundo here against Hawthorne, and then Santa Monica at Lusinger. So those are the next 2 upcoming basketball games.
And we know you fans would join us as you always have over the last decade or so for the very best in South Bay High School sports right here. Brought to you by the fine staff at Lawndale and the good folks who worked with us this year in partnership at Time Warner. Chad Hunt from outside, his shot doesn't go. Holyfield comes down with it. I think it's going to go off of Holyfield's foot. They're going to say, though, that it went off of a Cougar, and so West retains possession. They'll inbound under their basket. Holyfield gets it out to Nataki. Now you get Dolik in the corner. 2-pointer. Ref says he had his baby toe on the line. Nonetheless, it's now a 7-point game, the biggest lead of the game thus far for West at 42-35. Flowers gets it inside to Shelton, who gets it back outside to Flowers. Inside to Shelton, back out to Flowers. Little jumper put up and in by Tyrone Flowers. Big basket there for the Cougars. And the Cougar pressure pays off again. And you're going to get a foul on Nataki as he tries to strip Vilmar Washington going to the basket. So that'll send V. Washington to the line to shoot 2. And not to be confused with M. Washington, number 10.
And now that you mentioned M. Washington, the fact that he has only got a 3-pointer for 3 points, one of the keys, one of the reasons.
Well, how much is a 3-pointer usually for?
6 points.
Oh, okay.
That's on Planet Rufus, I guess. Let's see, where were we? Well, we're saying the fact that he only had those 3 points. One of the reasons why the Hawthorne Cougars are having the problems that they are having is that they've been able to hold him down. He's their leading scorer, 19.5 a ball game, and has not been an offensive factor.
V. Washington makes 1 out of 2 to cut it to a 4-point game. West breaks the press. They're running, and you've got a violent collision as Holyfield hits the floor. He scored the basket. Jumps up though. Doesn't seem to be too much the worse for wear. We're going to get a flagrant foul call against the Cougars on the play. Referee Steve Elliott goes over to indicate it's a flagrant. Coach Joe House is asking for an explanation of what he saw. What he felt was an honest attempt to go for the ball, got him on the arm, and of course it sounded and looked perhaps a lot worse than it was. Drew some oohs and ahs from the crowd.
Well, I don't know if we can see that one again, but that's Joe House talking with the official.
Joe pleading his case to no avail, but again, Joe saying that he knows his guys. There is no harm intended, and let's not be taken in by something that looks worse than it actually is. First free throw, put up and in. They'll get 2 free throws plus the possession.
Now, did he actually hit the bucket as well?
I'm not sure. I thought he scored the basket.
Didn't see them put it up on the board yet. I'll have to see what Brandon says.
Okay. Well, I'm being told by my spotter here that there was no score. In terms of the basket, didn't go, but he does make 2 free throws, and West gets the ball out of bounds, as is the rules of the NFHS, which is the National Federation of High Schools. 2 shots plus possession on all technicals and flagrant fouls. Dolik shoots from 2-point range. Surprises us a bit there. He can also make deuces. So now we've got a 46-38 game. Shelton inside, lays it up. It doesn't go. Dolik comes down with the rebound.
Shelton a little too quick that time. Didn't have the position.
Cougars still playing the aggressive defense. Montavine in there. They put it up in the air. And you're going to get a call now. Very late whistle. And that's what House is saying. There was some contact by M. Washington on the West Torrance player.
Well, if there was no contact, it was going to be a travel either or. And to make contact, that definitely was a late. It came at least a good 3 seconds after the contact.
So West Torrance still in possession. Fans, we're rolling down to 5 minutes. West Torrance leading by 8 at 46-38. John Wilson and Nataki out top. This time they swing it over to Dolik. His shot no good, but we're going to have a foul on the play. Indication is we're going to go down to the other end. So that means that foul's against West.
Some free throw attempts for the Cougars as they get to stop the clock. A couple of ticks under 5 minutes to go here in this 4th quarter. Having led for a long time and have trailed for most of the second half here tonight. Looking still somewhat weary coming off of that double overtime Beverly Hills loss.
Shot put up and in by Montavine. They give that foul to the power forward for West, Chris Brown. Second shot is up, and it's good. So we've got a timeout on the floor with 3 ticks under 5 minutes left. That's 4:57. Cougars of Hawthorne still in it, although they're on the short end of it, Dave, by a margin of 46-40 here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22.
Well, the press has been effective. I mean, it's not been a perfect press, but on the offensive end, two things. They need a little more patience. Also, West Torrance is doing a very good job at coming out when they try to pass the ball in and out. They're doing a very good job at getting out and getting the cutters, not giving them anything easy. So West Torrance definitely looks like a team that, although their coach Karim Gurgis says they don't have the horses, the athletes, so to say, they're not playing like it tonight.
And you've heard me talk, fans, about the partnership here. Every time I mention Lawndale Channel 22, we talk about Hawthorne Community Cable, as well as the good folks at Time Warner. This is an appropriate time for me to mention the fact that the folks at Time Warner, under the leadership of Don Todd, who work with us on these productions, also were courteous enough and kind enough to provide food to the camera crew. I didn't see none of that food, didn't eat none of that food, didn't even smell none of that food. But I will still tell you that Don Todd and the folks at Time Warner were kind enough to provide it for our staff.
And as long as the crew got it, that's all that counts.
Cougars in possession, looking to cut into this deficit. Shot put up by Montalvan, it doesn't go inside, and Cougars are going to retain possession, and they're going to get a fresh clock to go with it.
And as you mentioned, Montalvan just hasn't had that hook going tonight. He's had some good looks, but only 4 points to show for it. 1 field goal and 2 free throws.
Shelton gets it down on the low block, gives it out to V. Washington, who gives it over to the cut, and M. Washington doesn't go, but Shelton's going to be fouled on the play, and that's going to send him to the line as West already in the penalty situation. It'll be a 1-1. Well, they're going to say it's a 2.
Well, Mike Shelton has certainly come to play tonight, the freshman. VMR Washington, V. Washington didn't get to start tonight, but since coming off the bench has done a good job, but it's M. Washington who's had his offensive problems.
Shelton hits the first free throw. Free throws down the stretch here have kept the Cougars in striking distance. Shelton second, rims out. Hollyfield comes down with it, gives it off to Nataki. Pressure in the backcourt. They move it around. This time they defeat the pressure. Hollyfield with it, gets it back over to John Wilson. Dolik in the corner. Here's rims out. Cougars running. V. Washington on the wing, attacks the basket, puts it up and in. Nataki's flop goes unrequited.
Well, that time he had an open lane and just decided to do a little acrobatics and get to the hoop. Took matters into his own hand.
Still West ball out of bounds.
That's one of those times when you need a player like that to step up and you say, you know, it's okay for you to do a little one-on-one. You need a little something at the 4-minute mark of the fourth quarter.
There you see a shot of Coach House. You know, the coaching profession has a bunch of characters in it. Some of them nefarious, some of them not quite so nefarious. But I can tell you that Joe House is genuinely, as you were saying earlier, one of the good guys in this business. Clearly a guy who does it because of his passion for young people, his passion for the game. Foul there against West is going to send the Cougars back to the line. But I did want to make sure that the fans understood that when they see that guy, he's there because he cares about these kids at Hawthorne. He likes the game of basketball, and he's doing his very best to build not just a winning basketball team, but winning basketball players as contributing members of society.
He's getting his chance, and he's going to have a couple of years with this young man right here tonight.
Front end of the 1-and-1 missed. West gets possession, looking to break the press, and they do rather easily this time. Dolik underneath, looks to kick it back out. Should have gotten a travel call, didn't get it.
Now you notice they haven't gone into the big fella Hollyfield much. They've been depending on that outside shot, which they get right there.
That's Nataki with the outside shot. With 3:15 left, West leading by 5 at 48-43. Good ball game, fans.
Getting close to turning that one over. At the 3-minute mark now.
Cougars operating on the perimeter, killing a lot of time on the clock. Obviously looking for a set play out of this. They get it down low to Montavon. His jump hook doesn't go, but we're gonna get a foul against the Cougars. Shelton comes out of it none too happy, walks by the ref, needs to compose himself as he does that. Doesn't want to risk a technical by saying the wrong thing.
Well, again, that jump hook just not going tonight. And this puts the West Torrance team now in the penalty where they will shoot for the rest of the ball game. Chris Brown at the line.
Brown's had a pretty decent game tonight, makes the free throw.
And the difference at the half, Dwayne Holyfield had 14 points. Actually 12, I believe, 12 or 14 at the half.
Second one rims out on him.
When I was trying to make the second half, he hasn't really been the story. It's been the outside shooting.
We've got 2.5 left in the game. Cougars down by 6. That shot put up doesn't go, draws a lot of iron. Holyfield comes down with it, gives it off to Wilson. They lose it. Can the Cougars maintain possession? They've got a chance. Let's see if they can get it settled down. They give it off to Shelton. Shelton gets inside, goes up against Holyfield, scores the basket. We got ourselves a 4-point game with 2 minutes left.
And he has been their only low post presence tonight.
Whoa, gonna have another foul, I tell you. That Holyfield has taken a couple of hits, but this, if there's any guy who can absorb these hits, of course, it's Dwayne Holyfield, whom, as you told the folks early in the contest, starting tight end, and we did see him early during the football season, and he's, as they would say, a big one.
And it was a game we did against Hawthorne as well. He's going for points number 19 and 20 right here.
Makes the first.
So the second half, he hasn't been the go-to guy. It's been the outside shooting of Brad Dolick for the most part, which has enabled them to come up with some big offensive possessions in the second half. But he's always there.
And he hits 2. Fans, we've got 2 minutes left in the contest.
This is a big possession right here.
Still lots of time. You don't have to take the lower percentage 3 just yet. They got to look inside. They got both of their big men in there, Montavon and Shelton. And they're looking for him right now. Shot goes up, and it's good from 3-point range. We got ourselves a 3-point game with 1.5 minutes left. Cougars still pressing full court. West gets it across in the hands of Nataki now. West spreads the floor as they run their version of flat.
And that was Michael Washington coming up big with a 3-pointer.
Nataki drives the baseline, draws the foul. He's going to go to the line to shoot 2. Let's see who they give this foul against. Looks like they're going to give it to M. Washington. That's Mike Washington. And that's Washington's 3rd foul. 3-point game. Nataki looking to extend the West lead. His first free throw is good. They signal in the subs now as V. Washington comes on for Thomas Bunn. So you got Brown, Montavon, Shelton, V. Washington, and M. Washington.
And you got a 5-point game with 1:08 to go. Now with 1 minute.
They're looking at Montavon. Under 1 minute now. Cougars have got to get a shot soon. That's V from the perimeter. Doesn't go. West controls the rebound. Cougars needing to apply some pressure now. They try for the steal. Don't get it. They may need the foul, and they give the foul. With 38 seconds left in the contest, they trail by 5. West will go to the line.
Dwayne Hollyfield had position off that missed three-point shot. Almost went down, but he had perfect position for the rebound, and perhaps the biggest rebound of the night with 38 seconds to go in the contest.
And a timeout being taken by the Cougars, 20 of the 22nd variety. So, what a way to get it started, Dave. What a great game. Again, Cougars play clearly indicates that their record is not a good indicator of the quality basketball that this team is playing.
Well, I think what we've seen so far also indicates for the Cougars that they don't quite have the right mix on the court just yet. Of course, different starting 5 tonight. You're looking at freshman Mike Shelton, who's perhaps had the most impressive performance out there on the night. I think as the rest of this season goes on, Coach House is going to have to find the right combination to put out there in the court if they're going to want to have any sort of shot at getting a playoff spot in this Ocean League. Right now they are with just 1-4, looking at a 1-5 in league play in the face. It's not a good position to be in, so they're going to have to start turning things around very, very quickly.
Well, playoff spot's going to be hard to come by for a 4-12 team.
Because, of course, in basketball, they take a look not just at your division record, what you do in league. They take a look at, of course, if you win your league, if you come in number 1 and 2 or 3, it's important, but the overall record can count for an at-large bid.
It could. Score the free throw. We've got a 6-point game now. Three-pointer put up, doesn't go. And we're going to get another foul call.
And Rufus, I don't know, maybe I was missing something, but when do you get just one free throw on, wasn't he supposed to be shooting 2, or did he shoot the first one before the timeout, Nataki?
I must admit, yeah, and that's what their coach is saying, that he only shot 1.
Well, if that's the case, they need to put 10 seconds back on the clock. This is, the officials are going to have to talk about this one.
And the question becomes, well, here's the question. Is it a correctable error? And quite frankly, it is. I can tell you, I've been reading the rule book lately, Dave, because of the fact that I am doing some officiating myself, and that's what Kareem Gurgis is saying. We're supposed to shot 2, we only shot 1.
And if you were Hawthorne, you'd want that because, well, even though you see the free throws missed here by Holyfield, what's important is Hawthorne loses 10 seconds. So if I'm Joe House, I'd rather say, hey, make him shoot that second free throw, put 10 seconds back on the clock, we'll take our chances. Now you're same situation, you're down 7, but you've lost 10 seconds.
Well, easy come, easy go. You gotta have threes. We're under 20 seconds. Here's another steal. Good decision there by John Wilson. Pull it out. If you West, he's going to be fouled on the play. He's going to go to the line and shoot 2. We're in a double bonus.
And I'm sure they'll make sure he shoots the requisite amount of free throws this time with 14 seconds to go.
And I can tell you as a ref, when you get into this must-foul situation, that's when it starts to get a little dicey, and you got to maintain strong control of the game.
Now, Joe House was just speaking to one of the officials.
That's the referee, Steve Elliott.
And again, it'd be interesting to see what they decided to do with the fact that they only shot 1 free throw when he was supposed to get 2, and should have put 10 seconds back on the clock and just put him back on the line.
And the indication there is that that's 5 fouls on Mike Washington. So he leaves the contest with 14 seconds left.
So a fairly disappointing night. 8 points and 5 fouls for a man averaging close to 20. And John Wilson just putting the finishing touches on this one.
As West leads by 8, 56-48. The only thing in doubt now is the margin. 9-point game at 57. West still competing. Here comes John Wilson. He's going to pull it out. 7 seconds left. And you get another foul. This foul is going to go against Shelton. It's going to send Wilson back to the line. To shoot 2. West taking all of their players off the line. Their indication that they believe that they've secured win number 5 in league play and win number 9 overall. This win will raise their record to 5-2 overall, 5-2 in league play, 9-10 overall. Cougars, of course, unfortunately going to drop to 1-5 in league and 4-13 overall.
And the next game against El Segundo will not be a picnic. El Segundo, leading team in this league. El Segundo actually beat West Torrance on a shot at the buzzer. It was a game that West Torrance thought they had won, but their center hit a shot at the buzzer to clinch the game for them. And El Segundo on top of this Ocean League.
Wilson misses the second free throw. They get in the front court. That shot is up and doesn't go. Wouldn't have counted even if it had. And our final here at Sea House, the Warriors of West Torrance come in and get a victory by a score of 58-48. Dave, why don't you take a moment or two to get some closing comments before we wrap it up and send the folks home?
Well, I think the Hawthorne Cougars, you got a chance to see tonight on this broadcast what some of their players can do. You see where some of the ability is, what some of the strengths and what some of the weaknesses are. However, the question is it too late in the season as far as a playoff possibility to do something to turn it around? As you see both coaches, Kareem Gurgis and Joe out, they're probably still talking about that free throw that was never taken. That's an interesting issue. But from the point of view of the Hawthorne Cougars and their perspective, can they do something? Can they find the right kind of chemistry to at least make the rest of the season somehow respectable? They have a tough game coming up next week here at home against El Segundo, and they've got the whole month of February ahead of them. They do have a couple of players. You look at Mike Shelton, who is a fine freshman. Michael Washington was not really able to get off offensively tonight, although Viomar Washington, who did not start, had benched to start the ball game, came on with a fine offensive performance. But for them, it's just a matter of getting the pieces to gel at the right time. And I also think, Rufus, they need a little rest.
Yeah. And you're exactly right, Dave. And but as we say, they get back at it on Wednesday against El Segundo. Let us also take this opportunity to wish all of you a very happy Martin Luther King Day, being celebrated on Monday, February 21st. Now, for the entire crew here at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, Tom Strickfadden, who's Executive Director and Producer of Channel 22 Sports, Ramdot Suchet, who's directing in the truck, and the fine camera crew. Don't have the guys' names. We'll get that for you on Tuesday's broadcast. But for my partner, Dave Marks, I'm Rufus Washington, saying the folks at Lawndale's Community Cable, Channel 22, Hawthorne Community Cable, and our partner, Time Warner, Don Todd, and his crew, we all thank you for joining us on these broadcasts. Remember, we do it just for you. So, with that, I'm going to say good night, and we'll see you next week from Lawndale's Cable Channel 22. Good night.